I've now ridden over 75 different roller coasters across Europe. Most of them are in the UK, but I thought, why not make a top 50 roller coasters I've been on video and see what you guys think in the comments. So in today's video, I'm going to be ranking my top 50 favourite roller coasters. So this is going to take a while. Hopefully by the end of next year though, or this year, I will be at 100 roller coasters. Credits, basically every time you ride a different roller coaster you get a credit. I'm on 76 right now. With some trips this year, hopefully I'll be at 100 by the end of the year and we can do a top 100. But without further ado, let's get straight into the top 50 roller coasters I've been on. At number 50, we have Green Dragon. This is at Greenwood Forest Park in North Wales, and it's a really unique roller coaster. It's a family coaster, so with most family coasters, they're going to be at the bottom of the list just because I like thrill coasters a lot. But this one's really unique, in which you stand in a box, and that box uses gravity to go down a hill. But as your box is going down the hill, the train and the station move up the hill. You then walk round and basically get on the train. So there is no lift hill involved in this at all. It's really unique and really cool. I haven't been on it in about 5 years though. Number 49, we have Tammy Tammy at Portaventura. I believe this was made by Vekoma. It's a kiddie coaster, but it was fun. I did it for the coaster credit, but there's a lot better rides at that park. Number 48, we have Flying Fish. It's a Mack Rides powered coaster at Thorpe Park, and it's again a kiddie coaster. It's got 2 double helixes. It's a cool layout, but it's just a kid's ride, and as I said, not very thrilling. Number 47, we have yman Gander. This is also a powered coaster, but it's made by Zamperla. It's at Drayton Manor in the UK, obviously, and basically it's got a different layout to Flying Fish. That is why it's above it, because it's got a more unique layout. However, it is one of the slower power coasters I've been on. Number 46. This used to be my favourite roller coaster as a kid. I don't know why, but it's Crazy Train at Gulliver's World Warrington. It's now not there anymore. I believe it got shipped to Brazil. It was made by Pimfari, and it's got a really fun layout. And as a kid, I found it really intense. I'd like to ride one again with the same layout. They do have one at Southport, so hopefully I might get on that this year. I just want to kind of bring back memories and see what that ride experience feels like. Number 45, we have Troublesome Trucks at Drayton Manor. It's a Gerstlauer family coaster. This had a cool layout. It was smooth and it surprisingly had a tiny bit of force to it, but again, it's a kiddie coaster. Number 44, we have Rampage. This is at the Big Sheep in Devon in the UK, and it's made by Sierra. I again rode this as a kid, so it seemed like a lot bigger of a ride than what it would seem now. But from what I can remember, it had some good airtime, some good drops, and it went round twice, and it has 2 lift hills as well. In number 43, we have the Crazy Coaster by Revershon. It's on the South Pier near Blackpool Pleasure Beach in Blackpool, and it's a spinning coaster. It's fun. It's on the pier though, so it's probably the best spinning coaster I've been on. The fact that as you're going round those turns, like a Wild Mouse does, it feels like you're going to fling off the pier, so it does actually offer quite a thrilling experience. As well as that, the drops do offer some airtime, and it does get spinning quite a bit. Number 42, we have the Dragon at Legoland Windsor. It's made by WGH Transportation, one of the ones that are less known for roller coasters, but the actual layout itself isn't amazing. The fact that it's on 42 is the theming. The first section, the theming in there is amazing, and it's a decent layout but not very thrilling. The queue line also is very cool. Number 41, we have the Antelope at Gulliver's World. It's a wooden coaster. It's the only one of the Gulliver's parks to have a wooden coaster, but this one actually has some airtime. It's really shaky, and the turns feel like they're about to valley stall on that, so it does go quite slow, but the actual drops it has are quite good, and there is kind of a head chopper on the supports at one point. Number 40, another powered coaster. It's Runaway M Train at Alton Towers by Mack Rides. The reason this is higher than all the others is because it has a decent layout, especially when you go around that really tight corner into the tunnel next to the river rapids, and it's actually themed, so I do like it. Number 39, we have Tomahawk at Portaventura. It's a kiddie wooden roller coaster made by Custom Coasters International, and It's not the longest of coasters, but as a kid I think I would love this. There's one drop which is kind of like half a helix, well, just a turn. But that drop is good, and it does run alongside 2 other wooden roller coasters, which will be later in the list. Number 38, we have Nickelodeon Streak at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, made by Charles Page, and it was one of the first wooden coasters I've been on. And as a child, again, I did love this ride. I still do now. It does offer some good airtime, especially at the back. One of the twisted drops as well, near the turnaround section. I do love that. Number 37, we have Accelerator at Drayton Manor. It's a Vekoma coaster. It's a boomerang. Not a thrilling one, but it's kind of a family coaster. The first turn after the backwards lift hill out of the station, that has some force to it, and I do like that. But the queue line is one of the best queue lines I've been in. It's just really well themed. Number 36, we have Walking Dead The Ride by Vekoma at Thorpe Park, and the queue line itself is an experience. It's supposed to have actors in it, I believe, but it didn't have any. We did have actors on the way out, but the queue line is really well themed, and it does get you quite scared. And the actual layout is quite fun. It used to be X No Way Out, but that's gone now. And at one point you do stop on a brake run where the train kind of moves forward slowly and stops, and then it keeps jolting you forward until you go, and I do think that is a cool element. Number 35, we have the Big Dipper at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, another wooden roller coaster, one of the better wooden roller coasters at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. However, it's still not too thrilling. That lift hill takes ages to get up, but it does have a very long layout. It goes out quite far, and it's got some decent airtime. Number 34, we have Minifigure Speedway. When I went, we only went for 2 hours on the way back from Thorpe Park, but we did do Team Legends. It's by Sierra at Legoland Windsor, and it's got a really cool layout, as well as a massive minifigure kind of in the middle of the layout. That was really cool, and I believe it is one of the world's tallest minifigures. Number 33, Forest Coaster at Zipworld Forest. It's an alpine coaster. It's a very long ride, and I do love it. There is a POV up on the channel, I believe, and it's just fun, the fact you can control the speed you're going. I didn't activate the brakes at all until the end. It's really fun. It's really expensive though, £21 for 3 goes, something like that. Number 32, El Diablo Tren de la Mina at Port Ventura, made by Aerodynamics. This is a really cool ride, a lot better than I expected it to be. It's got 3 lift hills, one of them which is a bit pointless because it goes down a drop into a set of brakes just to go up another lift hill. But I did it in the back for my first go, and you get whipped down loads of the drops and out of the station. It's got some amazing theming, and I just like the whole ride. Number 31, kind of the first thrill coaster on the list, Colossus at Thorpe Park, made by Interin. I only got to do it once, and the one time I did it put me off going on it again that visit, because we did it in the back row, and it was really rough. You have to like climb to get into the trains, they're really weird to get into, and then the actual restraints have like no padding, so it's like you're banging your head side to side into some like rock. It really hurts. It wasn't pleasant, but I'm sure that it would be better if I did it on the front. Number 30, we have Avalanche at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, a bobsled coaster made by Mack Rides, and this ride is really intense, surprisingly. It's just a bunch of turns and helixes. They do have names, but it's intense. The last couple turns have some whip on them that kind of gets you some airtime, but it is short. But I do like what it does, and it does have some cool theming in the station. Number 29, we have Spinball Wizard at Alton Towers by Mara, and it's a cool ride. It spins, wow, and it's got a good layout, especially that horseshoe element. It's quite a long layout as well, and now that it's got a single rider queue, we barely ever wait more than 5 minutes for it. Number 28, we have Grand National of Blackpool Pleasure Beach by Charles Page. I've only put one of them on because the app I'm using to rank these counts it as 2, but it's a Mobius loop where basically it's the same track. So when you leave the station on one side, you're going to end up returning on the other side. It's really cool how it works, but the actual coaster, I love it. I don't know why quite a few people hate on it. It is really rough, but that just adds to the thrill. It has some amazing drops full of airtime and some fun bunny hills at the end. Number 27 and number 26, we have Stampeder at Port Ventura. It's Custom Coasters International. And that's the one that I was on about before with Tomahawk. That roller coaster runs aside. So all of these 3 roller coasters, they run alongside each other. You have 3 wooden coasters going along each other. But Stampeders, red and blue, they are racing coasters. They have an amazing layout. And from what people said, they had old trains on and they were a lot better. But they've added new trains on. These trains are like really open, so you feel like you're barely strapped in. But they just kind of shake along the track and they're really painful. But it's a good ride, really fun. Number 25, we have Revolution at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, made by Arrow. And it's really cool, especially if you're in the back. There's some whip, you launch out the station, you get whipped down a drop into a vertical loop, and then back up onto another platform where you do the same thing backwards. It's short, but it's fun, and it's an old ride, so it was good for the time that it was built. I just love it. 24, we have Velocity, made by Vekoma at Flamingo Land. It's a motorbike coaster where you literally sit in a motorbike position. It's got a hydraulic launch, and the layout's quite good. It does jolt side to side. I've only ever done it twice. The first ride was in the rain, so it was really painful. But it's fun. I like it. Barely ever wait any time for it. Number 23 is also at Flamingo Land. Mumbo Jumbo, made by S&S. It's used to be the steepest roller coaster in the world, and it still is really steep. I love that drop. It is an S&S El Loco. Some of the turns on this are really funky, and it's got some great hang time. It's not like the fastest of roller coasters, but it just proves you don't need speed to build a great roller coaster. Number 22, we have Galactica by B&M at Alton Towers, and it's a decent ride. It's a flying coaster, but I just think it needs a theming update and possibly get rid of the roller coaster and put kind of like a Vekoma launch flying coaster there. One of the weaker coasters at Alton Towers, which is why number 21, 13 at Alton Towers by Interin. That's above Galactica, just because more theming, got a drop track surprise, and it's just really fun. It's got a great layout. It's got some really cool elements like switch tracks and everything. Number 20 is another 4D coaster by Interin, Uncharted at Portaventura in Spain. What it does is amazing. The car spins to face show scenes. It has launches, which are actually really punchy. All of this is indoors. And then you have like sideways launches, backwards drops, which feel vertical. And it's just really speedy. Got a great layout. The queue line is themed really well. But the inside actual coaster experience could do with some more theming, because most of it literally is just screens. Number 19, we have Kumali by Vekoma at Flamingo Land. It's a Vekoma SLC, but this one has a custom layout, and it is quite smooth. I really like this. Infusion at Blackpool Pleasure Beach isn't even on the list, but this one is at number 19. It's got a good layout. It could be a bit longer, but for what it is, and the fact that it's an SLC, it's amazing. In number 18, we have Nemesis Inferno by B&M at Thorpe Park in the UK. It is a great ride. I only got to do it once. I don't get how some people say it's better than Nemesis Reborn. I felt like it had no force to it at all. It was fun, it was graceful, it just glided along the track, but I didn't feel force at all. But in number 17, another Interin Shockwave at Drayton Manor. This is now called the Wave, and you sit down, but I've not been on that version yet. But when it was Shockwave last year, or the year before, you used to stand up on it. It's got a cool layout, a vertical loop, a 0G roll and 2 corkscrews. It's a short layout, then brakes were really sharp at the end. But just the fact that you're standing up is the only stand-up coaster I've done. There's not many left of them in the world now. Number 16, underrated ride in my opinion, Reaat at Alton Towers, made by Interin. Quite a short layout again, but it's got amazing airtime, insane force, especially on the back, on that turnaround near 13. And the launch is just really punchy because it's hydraulics. I love hydraulic launches. Number 15, Saw the Ride, made by Gerstlauer at Thorpe Park. It has a really cool indoor section with some cool theming, cool sound effects, and an actual good layout inside. But once you get to the top of that vertical lift hill, the drop is amazing and the airtime is insane, especially the mid-course brake run that doesn't even activate. You have no brakes and then you go flying down another hill. Number 14, Furious Backhoe at Portaventura, made by Interin. This is also a hydraulic launch coaster, but you're sat in the wing position. The launch is insanely punchy. The fact the launch is on a slope means that at the end of it you go down this hill, which gives you great airtime. Number 13, Oblivion, the original dive coaster made by B&M at Interin Towers. It's literally a drop and a turn, but that drop has got to be the best drop on any dive coaster. Bearing in mind it's the only dive coaster I've been on, but I've heard lots of other people say this, because the fact that you're 60 foot above ground at the top of the lift hill, but they've dug a tunnel another 120 foot down below the ground. In number 12, we have Sick at Flamingo Land, made by Interin. It's a 10 inversion coaster. It has 4 consecutive barrel rolls at the end, and they are just amazing. And the fact that this has a lap bar, it's really smooth. The drop is amazing, and it's got some good force to it. And the station is like a nightclub. It's really cool. Number 11, we have Wickman at Interin Towers by GCI. This is an insane ride. Do this at back row at night time. It's insane. The ride feels like 10 seconds faster than normal. The theming is amazing. It's got a pre-show. It's got a great layout. And the station looks really cool. It's just an overall great experience. Number 10, The Swarm by B&M at Thorpe Park. It's a wing coaster. The actual layout is quite short, but it does have an amazing layout with some great hang time on the final inline twist and some whip on the 0G roll, a wing over drop as well, so that's got some good hang time. The theming of the area just makes it even better though. Number 9, we have the Big One by Arrow. Used to be the tallest roller coaster in the UK, now beaten by Hyperia, but this ride just has an insane drop, again especially on the back row. I just find roller coasters back row are just a lot better most of the time. But then the rest of the layout's kind of generic. Like you go up and down some hills or ramps. That's literally what they look like. They give you barely any airtime. Number 8, Dragon Can, another B&M at Portventura Park, and it was designed by John Wardley, who also made lots of the Alton Towers roller coasters. It's got a great layout and it is a really long ride. It's got 8 inversions. It is old. People said it was rough. I didn't find it rough at all, and I did it like 8 times. Number 7, we have Stealth at Thorpe Park, made by Interin, hydraulic launch coaster. It is now the fastest acceleration on a roller coaster in the world. It's literally a launch, a top hat, and then a drop into an airtime hill, which goes into the brakes. The launch is amazing. It's 205 foot tall. It's just an overall great ride. In number 6, we have the Smiler at Alton Towers by Gerstlauer. This holds the world record for the most inversions on any coaster in the world. So you've got one of them indoors. That is probably one of, if not the best inversion on the ride. It takes it with quite a good speed, and just the fact that it's in pitch black, I love it. But it has a normal lift hill, kind of at a 45-degree angle. And then we also have a vertical lift hill, which is really fun, and that scares quite a lot of people. But there are 2 airtime hills on it. The rest of it is inversions, but the second airtime hill offers some actual good ejector airtime with a great theme, especially the big structure called the Marmalizer in the middle of all the track. Number 5, Icon at Blackpool Pleasure Beach by Mack Rides, double launch coaster. This layout is insanely long. It has a lot of elements packed into it, along with some great airtime. But there is also another add-on experience, which is better than the actual ride, called Enzo, which is a spinning seat on the back. You do pay around £15 per go on this, but it is amazing. If you want to give it a try, do it on your own. I've only done it once, that was sat with someone else, but I've heard a lot that you spin a lot more by doing it with one person, because you weight the car to one side and then it spins a lot more. And the operations on it are always amazing. Number 4, Chambala by B&M at Portventura. Packed with amazing theming and an amazing layout, this is a great experience. It's a hyper coaster, around 250 foot tall, and it's got a great layout. It is kind of short, but the drop is amazing, and the rest of the elements, with the turnaround section being kind of like a figure of 8 turnaround section, along with another splashdown which offers great opportunities to take photos. It's an overall amazing ride, and those lap bars are insane. You feel like you have nothing holding you in. Number 3 is in Ferrari Land, right next to Portventura, owned by them. It's Red Force, made by Interin, Europe's tallest and fastest roller coaster. 367 foot tall and an 111 miles per hour launch. This ride is insane, and the launch is the best launch I've ever experienced. It's LSM's, but the power of it is amazing. Great airtime at the top. The fact that it has lap bars as well is insane. Number 2, Nemesis Reborn. I'm kind of surprised I put this above all of them great rides, but it's the theming. It's by B&M, it's at Interin Towers. The theming is absolutely amazing, and it's an inverted coaster. The layout is so intense. It's the fact that they dug down to build this coaster. This ride basically doesn't have a drop. You go down a little dip, which sends you flying into a corkscrew, and then down this like insanely tight and intense helix, and then you go flying over this big monster. The theming's amazing. It's got a great storyline. Number 1, the best roller coaster I've ever ridden. Hopefully get back on it this year. I was blown away by this, especially row 9. It's number 1, Hyperia by Mack Rides at Thorpe Park. Again, it's another short roller coaster, but the vertical drop, I'm pretty sure it's beyond vertical, which then twists back around under the lift hill into an Immelman, which offers some great airtime down into probably one of the world's craziest elements. It's not even got a name. It's an outer bank which then goes down into a kind of downwards barrel roll and then into this insane stall. It's an insane ride, especially row 9 or row 10. You get whipped over the drop. So that's it, my top 50 roller coasters I've ever been on. Hopefully I'll be able to make a top 100 this year. Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like and follow, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.